My friend, let me start with a question that might sound almost dangerous to ask in church. Why did the Son of God, who had power to heal the sick, calm storms, and raise the dead, choose to live only 33 short years on this earth? Think about it. If Jesus had lived until 70 or 80, wouldn't more people have been saved? If he had preached for 50 years instead of 3, wouldn't his message have reached farther? Why cut the story so short? And yet, here is the shocking truth. Jesus didn't die young. He died right on time. His 33 years were not an accident. They were not stolen from him. They were a divine schedule set before the foundation of the world. Most people look at the number 33 and think it's too short. We measure greatness by length, how long someone ruled, how many years they preached, how many decades they built. But God measures greatness by completion, not duration, fulfillment. That's why Jesus on the cross didn't say, "I'm finished," too soon. He said, "It is finished." John 19:30. That's the difference. But here's the tension. Many of us feel like life has been cut short. A dream didn't last. A relationship ended too soon. A career stopped before it blossomed. And we wonder, was it wasted? Did I miss my chance? That's why this question about Jesus' age is not just historical. It's personal. Because in his 33 years, we discover how God sees time, how God fulfills prophecy, and how God brings purpose even to what feels short. Now, in this teaching, I want to walk you through 7 biblical truths hidden in Jesus' 33 years. These are not random facts. They are revelations. Each one will help you see your life differently. Here's where we're going. The prophetic fulfillment. Why every year of Jesus' life was written before he was born. The priesthood mystery. How the number 30 is tied to spiritual authority. The Year of Jubilee. Why his death at 33 opened eternal freedom. The pattern of completion. Why God values fullness over length. The urgency of obedience. Why Jesus moved quickly, not slowly. The contrast with the world. Why human glory wants long life, but God's glory wants full life. The call to your timeline. How his 33 years shape how you live your years. Each of these truths will take us deeper. And I promise, by the end, you will not only understand why Jesus lived 33 years, you will know why you're alive right now in this exact season. So, are you ready? Let's walk together into Revelation.
Number 1. Jesus lived 33 years to fulfill prophecy. From Genesis to Malachi, the Old Testament whispered about him. Isaiah said he would be wounded for our transgressions. Micah said he would be born in Bethlehem. Daniel even gave a timeline for the Messiah's appearing. Every year of his life was ticking down prophecy like a divine countdown clock. Galatians 4:4 says, "When the fullness of time had come, God sent forth his Son." Notice that word, fullness. Not early, not late, full. Imagine a train pulling into the station. If it arrives at 7:55, it's early. If it comes at 8:05, it's late. But when it arrives at 8 on the dot, it's right on time. That was Jesus' life. Even his death was scheduled. Acts 2:23 says he was delivered up by the determined purpose and foreknowledge of God. So, why 33? Because every prophecy needed a life long enough to fulfill them, but not a day longer. Takeaway. Your timeline is not random. God knows the exact station where your train arrives. Point 2. The priesthood mystery. Number 2, Jesus lived 33 years because 30 marked priestly authority. In the Old Testament, a man could not serve as a priest until age 30, Numbers 4:3. David became king at 30. Joseph stood before Pharaoh at 30. Why? Because 30 symbolized maturity, responsibility, readiness. Jesus followed this pattern. Luke 3:23 says, Jesus himself began his ministry at about 30 years of age. Now here's the revelation. If he had started earlier, he would not have been recognized as a lawful priest. If he had started later, he would not have aligned with prophecy. 30 was the doorway to the priesthood. And after 3 years of ministry, he gave himself as a sacrifice, the high priest becoming the lamb. Catch this. He waited 30 years for 3 years of impact. That tells us preparation is never wasted. You may think your hidden years are wasted, but God is shaping your priesthood. Takeaway: don't rush your 30. Preparation is part of prophecy.
Point 3. The Year of Jubilee. Number 3. Jesus' 33 years fulfilled the Jubilee. In Israel, every 50th year was Jubilee. Debts canceled, slaves freed, and land restored. Leviticus 25. It was the year of release. Now listen closely. Jesus declared in Luke 4:18, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me to proclaim liberty to the captives." He was announcing himself as the eternal Jubilee. And when did he accomplish this? At 33. Why is that important? Because Jewish tradition connected 33 with the covenant promise. Even King David reigned for 33 years in Jerusalem, 2 Samuel 5:5. So Jesus died at 33, not as a random number, but as the eternal Jubilee. On the cross, he shouted, "It is finished." Debts canceled, slaves freed, inheritance restored. Takeaway: at 33, Jesus became your Jubilee. Freedom is not a year, it's a person. Point 4. The pattern of completion. Number 4, Jesus' life shows us God values completion, not length. In our world, people fear dying young. But in the kingdom, the question is not how long, but how full. Jesus only preached for 3 years. John the Baptist preached maybe 1, yet their impact shakes eternity. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven." Seasons are not measured by years, but by fulfillment. Jesus shows us you don't need 80 years to complete your calling. You just need obedience in your years. Some people live long, but empty. Jesus lived short, but full. Takeaway: a short, full life is greater than a long, empty one.
Point 5. The urgency of obedience. Number 5. Jesus lived 33 years to teach urgency in obedience. Notice how often he said, "My time has not yet come." He was aware of divine timing. When the time came, he moved quickly. In 3 years, he trained disciples, healed thousands, preached the kingdom, and fulfilled prophecy. Why so fast? Because delayed obedience is disobedience. Psalm 90:12 prays, "Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom." Friend, your days are numbered. Don't waste them waiting for perfect conditions. Jesus moved with urgency because the mission mattered. Takeaway: obedience delayed is purpose denied. Point 6. The contrast with the world. Number 6. His 33 years expose the difference between worldly glory and God's glory. In our culture, long life equals success. Politicians boast of decades. Celebrities cling to youth. Companies celebrate anniversaries. But Jesus broke the pattern. He left at 33, right in the prime of life. No retirement, no pension plan, no monuments built by his hand. And yet 2,000 years later, his influence outshines every king, emperor, and celebrity combined. Why? Because human glory fades, but God's glory multiplies. Isaiah 48 says, "The grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of our God stands forever." Takeaway: eternal impact is not measured in years, but in obedience.
Point 7. The call to your timeline. Number 7. His 33 years call you to trust your own timeline. Maybe you feel behind. Maybe you feel too old. Maybe you feel too young. But Jesus proves God's timing is perfect. If he could finish eternity's greatest mission in 33 years, don't you think God can finish his mission in you, no matter how many years you've lived? Philippians 1:6 says, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." Your timeline is safe in his hands. Stop comparing your years. Trust his calendar. Takeaway: don't measure your life by years. Measure it by obedience. Now, let's pull this together. Jesus did not die young. He died finished. He did not live short. He lived fully. 33 was not a tragedy. It was a triumph. It was God saying, "Mission accomplished." And that revelation shakes our excuses, because if Jesus could redeem the world in 33 years, what are you doing with the years you've been given? Friend, this is urgent. Life is a vapor. You don't know if you have 70 years or 30, but what matters is not how long, it's how faithful. This is your wake-up call. Stop delaying obedience. Stop thinking you have endless years. Start living with urgency like Jesus did. But here's the comfort. If you think you've lost time, God is the Redeemer of time. Joel 2:25 says, "I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten." So even if you feel behind, you are not too late. If you feel shortchanged, you are not cut off. The same God who ordered Jesus' 33 years orders your steps. Take this moment as your turning point. Don't leave this message saying, "That was interesting." Leave saying, "My time is now." Now, before we close, I want to challenge you. Type this in the comments right now as your act of faith. I will finish my race. Don't just watch passively. Declare it. Put it in writing. Because when you declare, you align your faith with His Word. And if this message has stirred something in you, share it with someone who needs to stop wasting time and start living with purpose. That may be the very seed that changes their destiny. I'll also leave a link below to a free guide I've created called Living on God's Timeline. It's a simple tool to help you number your days with wisdom. Download it and start applying this teaching immediately. Remember, you don't need 30 more years to obey. You just need today. As we close, I want you to pause, breathe, reflect. Jesus' 33 years were enough, and your years will be enough if they are surrendered to Him. Maybe you've been anxious about age, too young to be respected, too old to be useful. But listen, He redeems the time. He wastes nothing. Pray this with me, right where you are. Lord, teach me to number my days. Teach me to live not for length, but for fullness. Help me to finish my race like Jesus did, faithful and complete. If you prayed that from your heart, I believe this is a new beginning. So go in peace, go with urgency, and go in confidence that the same God who wrote 33 years for Jesus has written your story too. And friend, your story is not over yet.